Mrs. Cousin's class says happiness. Miss Belane's class says being happy and having fun. Mrs. Clifford's class says wishing for happiness, believing in something, never giving up. Joy means having fun. Happiness to try and get something, wishing for more. Lovely ideas, Key Stage 2. We're just waiting for the last couple of classes. New beginnings for Mr. Gowan's class. You could hope to get some food from Miss Belane's. Friendship for Mr. Gowan's class. Happiness. Lovely ideas. Checking that we've got everyone. I think we almost have.
Sorry, we're late.
That's okay, Miss Vendetta. Including everyone, hoping for a better future, hoping for good things for your family. These are beautiful ideas, Key Stage 2. Thank you. Right, we're just teaching now with Mr. Taylor. Hoping to see your family. Thank you, Mrs. Clifford. Joy means very, very happy. Thank you, Mrs. Horsfall's class. Yeah. Hoping for good luck. Not giving up when times are hard. Thank you, 60. Okay, thank you, Key Stage 2. Can you make sure that if you haven't already, that your candle is lit, please, to show that this is our special time, okay? Right, I'm just going to, I muted a few classes earlier. I'm just going to unmute everyone, and then teachers can mute themselves if they need to. I'm just going to go and sit somewhere else. It's a little bit, I can hear a bit of feedback. I'm going to go and try and find a nice quiet space, Key Stage 2, down the corridor. Ooh. That's better. Okay, let's ask Mr. Gowan's class. Does anyone know, Mr. Gowan's class, what type of music was I playing as you entered assembly today?
We couldn't hear it terribly well, but some of the answers said church music, caroling, some of the ideas that have come out just then. Fantastic, thank you, Mr. Gowan's class. It was a Christmas carol. Okay, so who from, let's go for Mrs. Horsfall's class, knows what special time of year in the Christian calendar we are just about to enter into? What's the special time of year that we're just entering into?
Christmas. What comes before Christmas, Layla? We're saying we're running up to Christmas.
The run up to Christmas. Okay, the run up to Christmas. Thank you. Good job. Does anyone in, let's go for Mr. Burt's class. Does anyone in Mr. Burt's class know what the run up to Christmas is called? And it's starting tomorrow on the 1st of December. Does anyone in Mr. Burt's class know? Can put their hand up in 5B.
Mrs. Loftus, they didn't have sound a minute ago, so I'm not sure if they have yet.
Ah, fantastic. Oh, that's where Mr. Dixon's face is there. Mrs. Joyce, maybe someone in your class knows the name of the special time that it comes before Christmas in the Christian calendar.
And then Finlay, the time before Christmas. Oh, Leo. Advent season. The Advent season, Leo said.
Fantastic, well done. Okay, so I'm going to screen share now, so please make sure we're looking at the screen beautifully. And we are exactly right. Was that Finlay? I think it was Mrs. Joyce, said it's the time before Christmas is Advent. Okay, so we are entering the Christian period of Advent. So what is Advent? Advent is the start of the Christian year. It's a time for Christians to prepare for the celebration of the birth of Jesus. It's also a time for Christians to look forward to a time when Jesus will come again. The word Advent comes from a very old word, Adventus, which means the arrival of something or someone important. So, someone in Miss Lyon Maris's class, what was the something or the someone important that Christians believe came at Christmas? Someone from 4L. The something or the someone that was important.
Lily. Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus, fantastic, thank you. And does anyone in, let's go for my class, 6H, does anyone know the other important things that Christians believe came during this special time? Any other important visitors that came during the story of Advent?
It's not, we've said Joseph, not really a visitor. Ethan? Angels?
Angels, good, thank you. Let's go for Miss Bendetta's class. Does anyone know the very special angels that Christians believe visited Mary when she found out she was going to have baby Jesus?
Anyone? Anyone have an idea who the angels were? The angel that come and told. Yeah.
That she will have a baby.
Yeah, that she would have a baby. What's his? Does anyone know what the name is?
Jesus.
Oh no, we don't know in this class.
We don't know, that's
it, but I know it. But
That's
maybe we can
why-
ask someone else.
Miss Bendetta, why don't you tell us the name of the special angel?
The angel Gabriel.
Thank you, Miss
Is
Bendetta.
that right?
That was correct, Bendetta. Well done. The angel Gabriel.
I've been listening.
Fantastic. Okay, so Advent is the 4 weeks before Christmas. It starts on the nearest Sunday to November the 30th. Advent lasts until midnight on Christmas Eve. Advent is a time for Christians to enjoy time with their family and friends. It began in Germany 250 years ago. So I want you now, with your teachers, and they're going to use the chat box, that word Advent, what does it make you think of? Okay, so if you put your hands up and tell your teachers, and then they're going to type it into the chat box. The word Advent, what does it make you think of? Try to do an assembly. Good boy. Okay, so let's see. Advent calendars, God, toys in an advent calendar, counting down to Christmas, chocolate. Thank you, Diego. Santa coming soon. The joy of receiving something every day. Happiness, Jesus, candles, presents. Lots of chocolate coming up. Opening little presents until Christmas. Nice events, Christmas holidays, spending time with family, snowmen. Oh, that's lovely for TR. It'd be lovely if we had some snow this Christmas, wouldn't it? A message, thank you, Mrs. Cousins' class. Seeing my family, advent candles. Thank you, Mr. Gowan's class. Christmas time, decorations, lovely 6H. Christmas trees. Thank you, Mrs. Talbot's class. Okay, Santa's coming and stockings. Right, we'll stop there. Okay. So, how is Advent celebrated? So we're screen sharing again. Churches display an Advent crown or Advent wreath, and usually we have one in school, but we haven't got one this year because we're not having our normal assemblies. The Advent wreath is a circle of evergreen branches. That means trees that don't lose their leaves. There are 4 candles starting in a circle. In the centre, there's a 5th candle. During Advent, in some churches, there are no flowers. The circle of evergreen branches is a reminder that God does not change. So Christians believe that like the leaves on an evergreen tree that don't change, they don't lose their leaves, that God doesn't change either. The candles remind Christians of the light of God. Who can tell me, in the Christmas story, what are some of the ideas to do with light in the Christmas story? Let's go for Miss Horn's class. What are some of the ideas to do with light in the Christmas story?
Maya Z said the star shining on Jesus.
Fantastic, thank you, Maya. That was exactly what I was thinking of as well. A new candle is lit each Sunday during Advent until all 4 candles are burning. Each candle has a different meaning: hope, peace, joy, and love, which are some of the words that we discussed earlier, so well done. The final candle is lit on Christmas Day to celebrate the birth of Jesus. We've also got some advent calendars. Put up your hand if you think that tomorrow morning you might be having an advent calendar. I expect a lot of you will be. I know Mr. Taylor's got a very special advent calendar with Lego bits in it. So we're going to read our story now, and our story today is called Leah's Star. Can you make sure you're listening beautifully, please, Key Stage 2? And this is a nativity story. So, Leah's Star. Let me just share my screen to make sure you can see the beautiful pictures. Here we are. Bethlehem was always a busy city. Tonight it was more crowded than ever. The Roman Emperor Augustus had ordered a census, so everyone who had been born in the city had returned to be registered. Leah's father had sent her for more food. The guests staying at the inn were hungry, but she was struggling to get through the crowds. Leah finally reached her own street, but suddenly she stopped quite still. A great silver star was shining right above her home. It was so beautiful that she could only gaze upwards, amazed by its shining splendour. Leah didn't see the donkey until she felt a sharp kick on her knee. A man called, "Look out!" just as her father came running out from the inn. "What took you so long?" he asked. "Pick everything up, then come and help. I'm rushed off my feet." Leah wiped her tear away on her sleeve. Her knee and her feelings hurt. A strong pair of arms lifted her back onto her feet. The man was leading a woman sitting on a donkey. She was young and very pregnant. As Leah picked up the vegetables, she heard, Key Stage 2. She heard the woman say, "Joseph, the baby is coming. What are we going to do?" Leah looked over to her father, who nodded in understanding. "There's no room at my inn," he said, "but I've got a stable. It's not much, but it's warm and dry and quiet." Leah's father told her to show the couple to the stable, and as Leah took the donkey's reins, she heard him call across the street to Susanna to come and help. After the coldness and dark outside, the stable was warm and comforting. Susanna immediately took charge. "Leah, get another light and some blankets for Mary." Leah helped as best as she could. Suddenly she realised there was no cradle, so she filled the animal's feed box with new hay and covered it with a blanket of her own. Susanna walked around the stable with Mary. "Just take things slowly," she advised. "It could be a long night." Leah found a corner and lay down. She realised she could still see the star. It glowed brightly as though it was watching over the stable. As she lay in the warm, sweet-smelling hay, her thoughts began to drift. With Susanna's help, Mary would soon be a mother. She wondered if her own mother ever watched her from somewhere high above. Leah didn't wake until she heard a cry. The baby was here. Leah crept slowly out of her dark corner. Mary was cradling her newborn son with such love and tenderness that Leah suddenly felt shy. Then Susanna caught sight of her and laughed. "What happened to my little helper? Come and see the new baby. His name is Jesus." Leah could only gaze in wonder. The baby was so tiny and perfect, snuggled in his mother's arms, that she wanted to cry. There was a quiet knock. It was Leah's father, looking puzzled. "There are some shepherds outside, and they want to see the baby." Slowly the shepherds crowded in. Their faces mirrored the long, hard season spent in the open, but their eyes shone with a fierce joy. The oldest one spoke in a trembling voice. "We saw bright angels in the night sky. They told us about the baby, that he was Christ the King that we had been waiting for." Leah stared at the shepherd in disbelief. Jesus was a king? Then why wasn't he born in a palace? Was Jesus really a special baby? Leah could think of nothing else. Finally, she had to ask Mary. "Every baby is special," Mary replied, "but I believe that Jesus is the chosen one of God, and I believe that God will look after him, just as he did by bringing us to your stable. Of course, he couldn't have done that without you, Leah." "Me?" said Leah. Mary smiled. "God often chooses little people to do great things for him." That night the star was shining so brightly, Leah thought the whole world must know that Jesus was in her stable. She crept to the window to catch a last glimpse, but found herself looking at 3 travellers, richly dressed in silken robes. Leah ran to open the inn door. One of the travellers bent down to her, and she could smell the perfume of the oils that scented his skin. The sound of his voice made her think of faraway places. We are scholars. We have followed the star for many days, but it shines above a stable. Tell us we have not journeyed in vain. Is Christ's child within? Yes, whispered Leah, he is here. The travellers entered the stable. When they saw the baby and his mother, they fell to their knees. They brought out gold, frankincense, myrrh, gifts for a king. But if you have followed the star, thought Leah, who else will be coming? Leah woke just before dawn. She knew at once the silver star was gone. But had Jesus gone too? Leah ran to the stable and softly pushed open the door. Everything had been tidied away, but Mary, Joseph, and the baby were still there. Are you going away? She whispered. Yes, Mary sighed. Joseph had a dream. The king's soldiers are coming. Mary turned to Leah with a sad, gentle smile and asked her to hold the baby while she got ready. Leah knew this was goodbye. She sat quietly, treasured everything about the baby, his silky hair, soft dark eyes, his soft dark skin and watchful eyes. When his tiny fingers clasped one of her own, she had the strangest feeling that it was not her holding the baby, but the baby holding her. Okay. Thank you for listening so beautifully, Key Stage 2. Whose perspective, someone from 6H, whose perspective was that story told from? Whose point of view was that story told from? Someone from my class.
Austin says from Leah's point of view.
And who was Leah, Austin?
Where did Leah live, Austin? Yeah, she lived in the inn.
Fantastic, thank you, Austin. Okay, that was just a different retelling of the nativity story that I thought I would share with you this morning, Key Stage 2. Right, thank you so much for listening beautifully. We're just going to do our reflection now. So don't forget, this is the time when if you believe in a God, it's a time for you to talk to them. If not, it's a time for you to have some mindful time for yourself. So I'm looking now, I expect to see everyone's eyes closed, hands in laps, and just having some quiet reflection time whilst I talk us through it. As we prepare for our Christmas celebrations, we take time to remember those who have lost loved ones during the pandemic. We are thankful to be able to share in this special time together and enjoy our festive celebrations in school, even though they are not how they usually would be. We are grateful to those who are working hard to keep us safe and who will be working over the festive periods and won't be with their families. Okay. Right, as we leave today, I've got a very quick little video to show you. Okay, and it's Advent in 60 seconds. So I think I'm going to share my screen again with you now. And again, thank you so much, Key Stage 2, because you have listened beautifully today. I'm really impressed. Right, let me just share my screen now.
Advent comes from the Latin adventus, which means coming. It is the time of preparation for Christmas, the feast that celebrates the coming of Jesus. Advent also reminds us of Jesus' promise that he would come again at the end of time. The Advent wreath has 4 candles, one for each Sunday of Advent. Its green branches symbolize the new life we expect. In church, the color that is used during Advent is violet or purple. It's the color of penance and sacrifice, but also of preparation. Halfway through Advent, on Gaudete Sunday, the color is rose, to celebrate that the time of waiting is almost over. Christians prepare during Advent by praying, by asking forgiveness, and by helping those in need. The star you see behind many windows refers to the Star of Bethlehem, who pointed the wise man from the east to the child Jesus. With an Advent calendar, kids can count down to Christmas Eve, which marks the end of Advent and the beginning of Christmas.
Okay, right, thank you for listening so beautifully, Key Stage 2. I'm going to put our music back on as we say goodbye this morning. Keep working nice and hard, please.